want to talk to you today about is like if you were in the Puget Sound area in Seattle, if you've ever been to Seattle, you know how beautiful it is there, but you wanted to head to New York. There's a lot of ways you could get there, right? Train, car, walk, flying. But what if your only two options were to either walk and go all the way across there? Let me get this slide up here so you can see it. It was to walk to go all the way across there or to fly. Well, most people in the world of AI, they're choosing to walk. And so they're having something that could take a few hours, take a lot of time, weeks, months, probably, I'd say months, to go across all the United States walking. And you have to face weather, potential adversaries, and some animals like bears or wolves. And why are we doing this? Why are we deciding to do that rather than fly? And I think there's resistance. This is not a technological issue. When there's something advanced like AI that can help you do things faster, like fly versus walk, why do we resist it? It's not the technology. It's not like, that doesn't work. There's something psychologically that we feel uncomfortable with. And when we get out of our comfort zone, that's where resistance happens. And we try to make it more complicated than it is. We say, well, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, it's too sophisticated for me. But the reality is, it's your limiting beliefs, it's your resistance. That's what's really stopping you. And that's truly psychological. Now, if we were to look at something in the past, let's say in this slide here, someone's in the 1400s and they see everyone going on ships. Their grandfather went fishing, they caught cod, their father caught cod, and then that's what they are lined up to do. Now, they can cling to that known past, right? And stay a fisherman off the coast of Portugal, in this case, in the 1400s. Or they can explore beyond that and see what is all possible there. And which way do you want to go? Like in your life, do you want to cling to the known past, or are you willing to go to the future? Because your future is built on the decisions you make today. Every choice crafts the blueprint for who you're becoming. And what fear do you have about AI? Is it that you just feel uncomfortable with it? Is you don't want to put in the time to learn it? Is it you think it's too much? Because there's always some reason behind our behavior and our actions. And a lot of times it's habits, it's things that we are doing not because we want that, but that's just what we're used to. And if we look at AI in business, it's growing at an exponential rate. There's studies that show like 79% of businesses are prioritizing AI software for this year. And there's a gap that's happening. And I want to show you this here. Is if you're not growing, learning, and adapting, you're falling behind. So on the left here, it's like imagine you're spiraling up, you're growing, you're learning, you're adapting. On the right-hand side, you're staying stagnant and you're doing more of the same and you're resisting what is possible for you. So the question for you is, are you going up, sideways, or backwards? Because technology is moving, society is moving forward. And how are you doing that? Are you embracing it? Are you dipping your toe in it? Or are you just totally resistant all the way? And next I want to share with you is the learning curve, because the learning curve here is really important. Whenever there's something new, and it doesn't matter what it is, think about yourself when you learned how to drive a car. You didn't know everything. You had a learning curve. Yeah, you'd seen other people drive and stuff, but you had to actually figure out how to do that for yourself. So in the beginning, we're all a novice and everything is new and confusing. I know when I learned to drive, it was like I had to learn how to stick shift, and it seemed like doing the clutch and everything. And then, and so what I learned with that is that you're going to struggle sometimes, but that's okay. And you're going to make a few mistakes. You know, when you go to park, it might not be exactly how you wanted to parallel park or how you wanted to park in that spot, but over time you start getting a better sense of it. And then you start getting the breakthroughs. And this is where it's the fun part, because now you're seeing, oh man, I'm getting it. I can parallel park. I can drive in traffic. I can drive in the big city, whatever it might be. And then you get to mastery, where now you're driving, you know, you probably shouldn't be doing this, but you're eating, you're doing other things. And it's like, it's second nature to you. So this is the same thing that can happen with AI. Many of you are at the novice level. Maybe you've done some prompts, you just interacted with a little bit, or maybe you've just been avoiding it. And then the struggle part, maybe some of you are in that, but you can break through and you can do this a lot faster if you work with someone like me who can help you bridge that gap. Because if it says here on the right here, skipping the learning curve leaves you stuck with surface level skills, outdated habits, and the high cost of falling behind. So you don't want to just avoid the learning curve altogether and say, well, I don't need this. I'll be fine without it. How did that work for you with computers? Did computers eventually become something that you had to do? I would say the same thing is going to happen with AI, that there are things that you can resist them so long, but what does that resistance really do for you when you're putting blocks up, when you're trying to stop it? And imagine if you were trying to learn guitar. You could go and just kind of hack on the guitar, hit some strings, but it's probably not going to be that great of an experience. But what if you had a mentor or a guide that was helping you learn the strings, learn how to play it? It's going to be so much more enjoyable for you rather than you just trying to go it on your own. And that's the same thing here with the infinity shift system. And that's why I created it, because I wanted something that could take you, man, my throat, something that could take you from where you are now to feeling totally confident using this in just 6 weeks. So remember, the biggest barrier isn't psychological. It is, the biggest barrier is psychological. It's not technology. It's not this. Because one of the things that I haven't stressed enough is that we prefer our known problems to our unknown solutions. Let me say that one more time. We prefer our known problems to the unknown solutions. Why? Because we want certainty. We want to feel safe in what we're doing. And when it's unknown, we feel like, well, where's this taking us? Where am I going with this? And instead, if you would just open up and embrace that, you can see, wow, this actually wasn't as difficult as I thought. And if you think about the Wright brothers, what were they doing before they started flying and inventing an airplane? They were a bicycle shop, and they could have just stayed making bicycles. What was Steve Jobs doing before he went down his path with Apple? Initially, he was working with Atari, and Atari was like a video game back in the 80s. So he could have stayed doing that, but instead he branched out. And you are bigger than your problem. I know I've done stuff in other slides where I'll put a circle, and it's like the circle is the problem. And then I put another dot, and it's you. And if you see yourself smaller than the problem, so the problem's greater than you, then you'll have a lot of resistance to do this. But if you see yourself as bigger than the problem, then it's like, no big deal. I'll be able to handle this. And I have a slide on this that I want to share with you. And that is, remember back to third grade math, there was a time when you thought that was difficult. Even if you were a super advanced student and you're in kindergarten, if you had third grade math, it was a challenge for you. So at some point in your life, third grade math was a challenge. Now, did you end up mastering third grade math? Absolutely. And you did that by you growing. The math didn't get easier, they didn't water it down. Instead, you became better. And so the problem became smaller. And that's really how I view AI. When I look at it, it helps me grow, it helps me get bigger. And so then the problems seem in proportion relatively smaller. And it allows me to keep growing to face bigger and bigger problems. So AI helps you outgrow your problems by building your capacity to handle bigger challenges, just like you once grew beyond third grade math. So you don't need to try and figure this out on your own. I'm here to help you, or someone like me, to have you build a customized, personalized system where AI is something that you know how to work with, and you feel really confident and you start getting results like I've been getting in others. So you can, again, decide like, I'm going to do this the hard way. I'm going to try to walk from Seattle to New York, or you can decide I'm going to fly. And I invite you to join us for the free live webinar on Saturday. Again, the flight is leaving, in this case, the class, and it's boarding. And you have to decide, do I want to keep going the old slow way, which is walking, and I know that's going to run out eventually, or do I want to embrace the new way? Sorry about my throat here. So I'm going to end here with a clip from Alaric, and then a joke and stuff. So we'll get going here.
It's Alaric here. I want to jump in for a moment and remind you that growth always lives on the other side of the familiar. Today, Bryan shared how we so often cling to known problems, even when solutions are right in front of us, just because they're unknown. I see it all the time, even in myself, in my own learning loops. But what if we decided to embrace that discomfort? What if we saw it not as a threat, but as a sign that we're on the right path? Remember, every pioneer in history had to walk into the unknown to build something new. You're that pioneer right now. So trust the process, embrace the flight over the walk, and let's choose the future together. I'll be right here every step of the way.
And now we'll end a joke from Alaric. But before then, just remember, if you want to attend the free live webinar on Saturday, that's at infinityshiftssystem.com/register. It's in the description, and I'll also try to remember to put it in the comments, but that's infinityshiftssystem.com/register. Now on to Alaric's joke.
So, the other day, I'm out for a walk and I see this guy, my neighbor, chasing after his dog like he's in a low-budget action movie. I mean, this dog is moving like it's training for the Olympics, and my neighbor's flailing around with a leash like it's a medieval weapon. I decide to help. So I shout, "Hey, want me to try to catch him?" He shouts back, "Yes, thank you." So I start chasing this dog like a maniac, through bushes, over fences, across people's lawns, like a canine parkour course. I'm sweating, panting, thinking, wow, I'm really being a hero here. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, I catch him. This little fur ball with a face like a Disney character. He's wagging his tail like nothing happened. I look up, triumphant, expecting my neighbor to be cheering me on like I just won the Super Bowl. But instead, he's standing there with his hands on his hips, looking annoyed. He says, "That's not my dog." I'm like, "What?" He says, "My dog's been inside the house this whole time. I was chasing that dog because it was chasing me." So now I'm standing there, holding a random dog that may or may not belong to anyone. And it's looking at me like, "So, you gonna feed me or?" At that point, I just handed the dog to the neighborhood bully and said, "Good luck," and walked away.